Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome again to my YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. I say again, welcome to my YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. And today I will be continuing coverage of a series, NBC Training Part 4. And this is choking agents. And NBC, the acronym stands for Nuclear, Biological, Chemical Warfare Training. So we'll be covering this brief military content, and actually this might take me a little bit longer, but hopefully you guys will bear with me. But anyway, let's get into it. This is part 4 of NBC training, and so the last two, in parts 2 and 3, I covered blister agents and nerve agents, and so part 1 I basically explained to you the gist, of nuclear, biological, chemical warfare training. So I gave a brief overview. So now I'm going through breaking down the different types of agents, chemical agents, and which I'll get to nuclear in another part of it. But I'm breaking it down in basically the importance of wearing the chemical ensemble. But anyway, let's get started. So basically, choking or lung agents, they basically, these are chemicals that are used in warfare, and they cause severe irritation and swelling of the respiratory tract. So for any of you that, I don't know if there's anybody listening that may have bronchitis or asthma, bronchitis or asthma have nothing on these choking agents. When they are used in a war, they are agents, and they basically multiply and they greatly enhance the dosage and the potency of each agent. So should it be used in a terrorist attack or during war, or when it's dropped, it is meant to do severe damage. Now, some of these agents not only can cause severe damage to the lungs and pulmonary, but they also can be irritants and do damage to the eyes, as well. So anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so the first one, bear with me on this, is the respiratory or choking agents that they use in warfare are ammonia, bromine, chlorine, hydrogen chloride, methyl bromide, methyl isocyanate, osmium tetroxide, phosgene, phosphine, phosphorus, and lastly sulfuryl fluoride. And these are, I'm just naming off a few off this list. Okay, so obviously, pretty much, I'm quite sure everybody knows what ammonia is, and ammonia obviously is a chemical that we use to even on a basic level we use it to clean with, and if you've ever been exposed to ammonia, whether it's mixed in bleach, whatever like that, it can also not only affect your respiratory system, but on a basic level it can kind of make you snot up or either tear up. So now imagine having a lethal dose of this dropped, say in a particular a gas or something like that, in a gas, and if you're in combat, or even if you're in a non-combat situation. And I want to say something real quick. The reason why I've decided to do this series is because places such as New York City and other areas, they have issued a warning of what to do in case of a nuclear, biological, chemical warfare attack, because they fear that Russia may use some such tactics and attack civilians as well as the military. So that's why. So this applies to both sides of the house, which I'm quite sure a pretty good number of the military guys should be prepared as you receive NBC training on a regular basis. But sometimes some military members have more experience and are more exposed than others, so this is for you also. But for ammonia, it can do a devastating job, at lethal doses. It can operate and function like an extreme lethal dose of like tear gas, with detrimental effects on the skin and also your respiratory system. It's basically, it would set your respiratory system and even your skin seem like it set it on fire, and you wouldn't be able to breathe because it would cause the membranes, the mucous membranes within your respiratory tract to begin to fill up, cause your lungs to fill up with mucus, and also your eyes would begin to, the tear ducts, they would begin to tear up, to the point where it would cause like an acidic reaction on your eyeballs, set them on fire. So if you do that to a military, what you're going to do, you're going to incapacitate, and if people cannot breathe, obviously eventually they basically will cease to exist. And definitely for a civilian side, if you have people that are unprepared and something like this would have happened, just even a terrorist attack, you would have mass destruction or chaos of people just dropping dead. I mean, people operating vehicles or whatever they're doing at work, it would cause major damage and chaos in a society, and that's just like I said, that's that right there is ammonia, but now what do they say about ammonia? Okay, basically, obviously, ammonia, the majority of exposures, they do occur by inhaling it, and the symptoms, obviously, they do affect the ocular, nasal, and respiratory, and it causes extreme irritation, and if you suffer from this type of poisoning in an attack, it can cause suffocation, dyspnea, throat irritation, cough, but the list goes on and on. But if you can't breathe, how are you going to function? And then second of all, how do you will cease to exist if you can't get oxygen to your lungs, and that oxygen you need from your lungs supplies it to the muscles and the system throughout the body. But I don't mean to be so graphic, but I have to drive it home as we are in some interesting times. Next up is choking agent is bromine. Okay, now what is bromine? Okay, bromine is, and this is coming from the CDC, so I will be leaving this link in the description. Okay, bromine is a naturally occurring element. Okay, that is liquid at room temperature. Okay, it has a brownish red color with a bleach-like odor, and it dissolves in water. Okay, now, where's bromine found and how is it used? Okay, bromine is found naturally in the Earth's crust. Obviously, we know it's one of the elements for those of you that might be chemistry majors. And they also use it as an alternative to chlorine in swimming pools. Okay. Now, let me get here. Okay, so these are some of the uses. Now, bromine also historically has been used as a sedative. So it can make people calm, or sleepy. But when you apply this type of agent, in the atmosphere, it can cause, like I said, it could mess up your respiratory system. And bromine to me is kind of like a obviously it's a fire retardant, but it's also, I would say, it's like a silent killer, because you may be able to smell it, but it just seeps right in, and once you inhale this stuff, it can do serious damage, to your respiratory system and incapacitate you, and eventually, like I said, if that respiratory system gets messed up bad enough, basically you can have vital organs shutting down, and also it can lead, to death. Obviously, if you can't breathe right, you need oxygen, throughout your body. You know. Next up is chlorine. Now, these are basic chemicals, but what you have to think about it is that in its base form, you know, they may seem pretty harmless as long as you don't, take them into your body. But when these are released as a gas, and at a much higher and lethal dose, if you're talking about biological warfare, this stuff begins to get pretty dangerous. It's no joke, what these scientists can do to manipulate these type of agents is unreal. So when they put this stuff in bombs or whatever like that, or in missiles, or if they release it in a terrorist attack, it's going to be an extremely high dose that can wipe out percentages of a population, or it can cause serious damage. But obviously we know at its base level, chlorine, we know it's a poisonous gas, but when it's in that form, now in its regular liquid form, you use it, for sanitation or to treat swimming pools. That's basically how we know it, to kill bacteria. But when they're using it in warfare, it's basically kind of, I guess you could say, like a bleach that's on steroids. And anybody that knows, if you get bleach anywhere close to your respiratory or even to your eyes, you're going to tear up. So multiply that on steroids. When scientists create this as a gas, you would have a hard time being able to breathe. And like I said again, it would cause your lungs to fill up with mucus and fluid, and if basically it can cause you to drown, in your own mucus or your own fluid, as well as tearing up unless you get treated. But let's see, next one, moving on. Hydrogen chloride. All right, so what is hydrogen chloride? Let's go, guys. Bear with me for a minute, guys. Bear with me. I'm just going through what they have here in the CDC, because some of you may not understand what these agents or chemicals are. So I'm just trying to make sure I give you guys a basic definition. Okay. Now, basically, hydrogen chloride basically is colorless, in color, or a slightly yellow gas, and it has a foul odor. Okay. Now, hydrogen chloride, it can irritate the skin, nose, eyes, throats, and your larynx, your voice box. Okay. If you're exposed to liquid hydrogen chloride, it can cause frostbite. So this stuff is nothing to play with. Okay. Let's see. Obviously, the level of harm is going to depend on how lethal the dose is, and obviously exposure. Now, hydrogen chloride, can be used like hydrogen cyanide. Okay. For regular workplaces that do use it, for fumigation, it's used for mining and chemical synthesis. But when you put this out into the environment, into the atmosphere, if you inhale this stuff, or this stuff gets on your skin, or into your throat, it's gonna be a long night, and like I said, if it remains too long, it can cause everything from frostbite, to possible limb, amputation. Definitely can really mess up the eyes. And when I say irritate, on paper it doesn't sound like it's much, but when you talk about in a like I said, a chemical or a biological attack, this stuff is going to be on steroids, where it's going to incapacitate you, where you can't you won't be able to function unless treated. And if not treated in time and the symptoms continue, obviously loss of life will occur. But it is important to know how to wear the chemical ensemble suit, because it protects you from agents like this. And that's the importance of, having the gas mask with charcoal in it with a proper seal. When I'm talking about a proper seal, a seal is what you measure or test it to be sure that you have the mask properly fitted on you, so that way there won't be any air able to slip in, because if the chemicals or gases are in the air, if you don't have a good seal, your mask can fog up, which means that chemical or that agent can enter, and that means a long night or possible even death for a military member or for a civilian in the case of a terrorist attack, or should the United States or any country wind up in a state of war. You never know what they're going to use. But this is just something to think about, and it's food for thought, and, it's not to panic, but, not to be taken lightly either, as we've seen what Putin has done so far, with Ukraine. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Sorry for being so long-winded, guys, but just want to get through this right here. Okay, so we have methyl bromide. Okay, another choking agent. Okay, now methyl bromide. Okay, obviously methyl bromide, it's a gas or like a poison. Okay, and the poisoning primarily occurs once you have inhaled it. Okay, but also you can have dermal exposure, meaning that you can be exposed to it through your skin. Okay, and what it does, it'll irritate the ocular, your skin, which is dermal, and the mucous membranes, severely irritated. Okay, and the onset of symptoms, like I said, it's silent, sneaks up on you. It can be delayed from 1 to 48 hours, basically an hour to 2 days. So some of this stuff is lethal but deadly, and it'll sneak up on you. Okay, now let's see, what are some of the symptoms? Okay, symptoms of exposure are cough and dyspnea. Okay, and it can develop into pneumonitis and pulmonary edema. Okay, but those type of symptoms or diseases can be delayed up to 4 or 5 days. Okay, and severe poisoning, it can potentially result in seizures, coma, and death. And like I said, I'm not trying to be morbid or anything like that, but this stuff is not to be taken lightly. Should they drop this in a chemical attack. So it's important, to consider possibly maybe for those civilians that don't have a chemical suit and a mask, to consider possibly maybe getting one as a backup, just in case, But as you can see, what I've read so far, this stuff is it's not to be taken lightly. And like I said, you never know what I'm not trying to say that Putin would, but I won't say that he wouldn't. You never know what a person would do if they're backed into a corner. And if it wasn't serious, then you would not have certain malls in the United States or them giving a nuclear public service announcement. So, this is something just to think about, guys, saying consider it, think about it. And for you guys in the military, make sure you take the training that you're getting, serious. And I'm quite sure they probably have you guys going through exercises now and on standby, especially with the conditions with the United States and Russia and China. So, just something to consider. Better have the suit and not need it, and then to need and not have it. Next up is methyl isocyanate. Okay, and I'm gonna probably cut it off right here. I don't want to read every definition, but of all of these agents, but I'm just trying to give you an idea, of the lethality of these agents and what they can do, especially for anyone that's caught off guard, or even if you happen to get caught. Okay. Now, methyl isocyanate. Okay, it occurs through inhalation, through if you take by breathing, or through skin absorption. Okay. Now, the toxicity of it can develop anywhere from 1 to 4 hours after you've been exposed. Okay. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of exposure? Like I said again, cough, dyspnea, chest pain, lacrimation, eyelid edema, and unconsciousness. Okay. And if the effects, continue to progress anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, it can include acute lung injury, cardiac arrest, and eventually death. So, this is just something to consider. We all never thought that 9/11 would occur. We never thought we would see, and my condolences to anyone who may have lost loved ones in 9/11, but I'm using it as an example to drive a point home. We never thought that 9/11 would occur. We would see, 2 planes, flown into the World Trade Center, or we never thought we would see the Pentagon get attacked. These are things we didn't consider, and didn't think that war could come to the United States of America, because most of the time when we do get into it, we're normally on other people's soil. And it's been a long time since the United States has experienced some serious warfare on its own soil. But you have, now other nations who have capabilities to attack. And obviously, America being a melting pot, they can even come in with, terrorist attacks. So it's something to think about, and not to be taking, like I said, I'm not fear-mongering or trying to cause anybody to panic, but I'm just giving you something to think about. Consider getting a chemical ensemble with a mask, and make sure that the suit, and make sure that the canister, which you're going to screw into your mask, make sure it has charcoal in it. That's your filter right there. And also make sure the suit itself has charcoal, that is lined with charcoal inside of it, because that charcoal is what absorbs these particular agents. Now like I said, there's other agents that I could go through, but I don't want to wear you guys out. I'm gonna leave the description. This is from the CDC.gov, so you can check out the other agents, as well as this chemical blister agent. So you can check it out for yourself and see exactly what the effects, results, the symptoms, and basically how to treat it. But if something like this happens, on a mass, it doesn't take much. But you put this stuff out there in the atmosphere, or it gets into the air, you can have like I said, total chaos. Total chaos, and definitely could lead to death. Because some people wouldn't be able to make it to the hospital in time. With my military guys, obviously you guys have training, and you have the chemical ensemble, so you have a better chance. But even in warfare, members in the military get caught too, by this stuff, but they have a better chance of survival because of training. But even for you guys too, you guys know the deal, that this stuff is no joke and how lethal it is. But I'm gonna cut it off right here, because I think I've just gone too long, and I don't want to sound too morbid, but consider getting yourself a chemical ensemble, because you never know, you might need it, and it could be the thing that saves life and limb. And for men and women that are in the military, take your training serious, and I'm quite sure you guys are getting your training now. Take that stuff serious, and make sure you learn it, because you never know when you're going to need it, and you don't never know what position you might be in. You might not be near your 9-line medevac, or you may not be near a facility, So, you want to be sure that you take the training seriously, so you are best prepared in the event that an attack like that happens, and you have to go and deal with this during combat. But anyway, I want to say thank you to all my subscribers, and I am grateful. So please continue to support and spread and share it. The name of this channel is Eric Broadus YouTube. That's EricBroadus YouTube, or ericbroadusyoutube.com. And so please subscribe, share it, and push it out. Smash that bell to become a subscriber. Smash the like button, to like the video, leave a comment. And if you don't like it, hey, smash the unlike button, but still leave a comment. Love to dialogue with you. And please, if you have more information, please share it. Also, I have a podcast called Snacks Thoughts, SNAKZTHOUGHTS, Snacks Thoughts, and you can find that podcast on Acast, Anchor, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Radio PBM, and a host of other social media platforms. And lastly, I'm teaching courses on Skillshare on how to succeed in the military, on leadership, cultural diversity, and a host of other topics. So I'll leave the link in the description, and please sign up for the class at Skillshare. But that is all I have, and share it. Share Snacks Thoughts, Eric Broadus YouTube, with friends, family, frenemies, enemies, roaches, bats, cats, dogs. Share it and push it out. All right, guys. That's all I have for this one. This is Nuclear, Biological, Chemical, and Warfare Training Part 4, a continuing series. See you guys on the next one. Peace.